Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and gabbing, maybe some microphone gabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric Page. Huh?
Perfectly timed. Too funny. All right, everyone. Welcome to the after party. We are back. Lance is back this week after a couple of weeks away. And a lot of stuff going on. Probably still very busy with a new baby. Congratulations, Lance. On that,
Thank you.
So hope you and your wife are enjoying the extra work around the house. And
Loving it.
And we have Paigey from Down Under.
A dingo ate my baby, so I can't really talk about it. I guess it's all good.
Here we go. Well, sorry to hear that, Laura. I hope that that's healing up okay. Wow. Wrist surgery and typing probably do not go very well together. So, all right. So we have a few topics today.
Remember last week I was talking about how there's like a gangland war going on down here? Do you want some updates?
Yeah, what's the update?
There was another assassination. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but yeah, there's an update.
Wow.
So just straight up walked up in the car, bang, you're gone.
Wow,
your head's
okay.
gone. Yeah.
Wow.
R.I.P. the dream.
I never want to live in your area then.
Well, I think it just proves, I mean, you make a lot of money in being in like organized crime, but then also you could probably die as quick as you blink. So.
Well, isn't that old saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword?
I think it's also like, don't be an idiot, but like, don't break the law.
Or I don't know,
maybe,
don't be part of like any organized criminal operation.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Karma, chameleon. Like, there's probably a couple different things you could say, but
I mean, there are actually. But we got a couple big announcements. The first thing I want to talk about is it next week? I think it is, right? Paige, we talked about this, the special stream. I think it will be next week.
No, it's not. It's not next week. I think it's the week after, isn't it?
Okay, all right. So
you might have to go through and do the count again. I think it's
right. The
not next week, the week
the
after.
3rd of September, right? The 3rd of September. We are 2 weeks out from the 250th after party.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about a milestone.
We spent like over an hour going through videos to try and get an accurate count. 250 episodes.
Knowing us, it's probably still very inaccurate, but we're gonna go.
Yeah,
with it
we're
anyway.
gonna go. We're close enough. 250 episodes.
We know that. I think it's like January is the 5-year anniversary.
Right. So we're gonna have a very special stream for the 250 episode. I will probably bring snacks and treats. And
just something to eat.
Yeah,
twerks and beats.
We might even like do something where I have some old guests from the after party show up and we rotate people out of the stream. So it might be, we might end up doing something because I have no idea. It'll be the return of Stargirl. Stargirl will be back, so we'll be talking about that. But then we're gonna add a bonus hour to the stream just for the 250th episode. So there we go. So that'll be in a couple of weeks. So yeah, there we go. All right, we have a Team Eric member chat from Thomas Scott coming in with the Edge immediately. When will the Zaslav? Oh, there's a cult of Zaslav now. When will the Zaslav?
I think it's just the Snyder cult transitioned into the Zaslav cult because I think it's just a transition. It's like transitioning from like heroin to meth. Like I think it's just that sort of
Wow.
That's so I was over on TikTok. I made a video about that, and people were telling me that I was wrong, that Snyder fans don't necessarily agree with Zaslav, and I'm like, I'm not going to say it's always, but it's often. It's more times than not in my personal experience with that. So thank you for the Team Eric member chat and continued being a Team Eric member for how many months was that? 18 months. Wow. Thank you so much. By the way, Team Eric members, if you have not voted, there's a poll in the community tab for the next watch along video. Right now, Man of Steel is winning. It is winning as the movie for the month. So I'm going to give it a couple more days after this to go vote in the community tab. Pick the one you want. It's got a couple other choices up there, but Man of Steel is winning. So we'll be watching Man of Steel together, most likely, unless that somehow changes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so let's start out with the first topic. And this was the one that came again. I feel like everything's just coming out of nowhere really anymore when it comes to stuff. But this is the recasting on Superman and Lois. Now this is the Johnathan Kent role, the Bizarro Superboy role. He's going to be exiting the series, and this was quite controversial. I got into a couple fights on Twitter about this.
What's new, Eric?
I know.
So if you want some funny stuff, if there's ever like any sort of like controversial news, just go to Eric's Twitter and then go tweets and replies and just see what Eric's replying to. You'll probably laugh for about half an hour, whether it's because of what Eric's saying or what Eric's having to reply to.
Yes, it's quite interesting. So basically, what we know here, as far as like his position on the show, was that he did not return in time for work. They had a set date for him to come back, which was ahead of everybody else because they presumed that he had to quarantine. This is where the whole vaccination thing comes into play. The assumption is that he was not vaccinated, possibly for medical reasons. So they needed him to come back per Canada's rule about quarantining when you fly into Canada.
So blame Canada.
Right. Where's Canada graphs? From blaming Canada. So he had to quarantine for 14 days when he got in. That is where the assumption that he was not vaccinated came from. Plus, there was a deleted Instagram post. I know, Lance, you shared something.
It's back up.
So, is it okay?
Yeah.
Where they, he talked about the whole, medical issues with being vaccinated. Whatever the reason is, whether he is anti-vax or just not vaccinated for medical reasons, that was the reason why supposedly he didn't come back originally. But then it was said that there was some sort of mental health issue that he was having, that he had been, he was in contact with the team, like they knew that something was going on. But
he said that they notified him that he wasn't coming back. So right. I just blame it on Deadline and Variety.
Yeah,
they're putting all these different stories out. So
yeah, it says Superman and Lois series regular Jordan Elsass will not be returning for the upcoming third season of CW's DC series. As a result, his role, Johnathan Kent, will be recast. The decision was made after Texas native Elsass did report back to work by the deadline given to the cast to reconvene in Vancouver, where Superman and Lois films. Now, the other drama is apparently Alex is no longer following him on social media. Like he's not following him. I never thought that I would ever be covering a story where I have to talk about who's following who on social media. But
if you started Arrowverse Drama Alert, then you would have been jumping into that. That would have been your main topic every day.
But it's like,
oh my god,
how early
Grant Gustin unfollowed who? Question mark, and that's the title of the video.
Like, how early did he have to be back? Because
2 weeks, I'd assume.
I mean, like 2 weeks. But I mean, Tyler Hoechlin's currently shooting reshoots in Atlanta for the Teen Wolf film, and Alex Garfin was literally with the cast of Teen Wolf, and now he's in Scandinavia.
I'm gonna assume I think they're all vaccinated. They're all vaccinated.
Yeah. So can you scroll up a tiny bit?
Yeah,
Eric?
where, like here?
No, up a bit.
Oh.
So August 16th. So it's what? 4 days ago. So there's another 10 days until his quarantine would have ended. So there's 10 days until I'd assume that the rest of the cast have to be there, if maybe not a tiny bit extra. Like maybe they gave him an extra couple of days after quarantine or whatever it is.
Batwoman's recast was different because it happened between seasons. They had time to take care of that. Whereas
and there was the whole COVID thing as well.
Yeah.
Like they had much longer than a normal off season. And they probably knew before the news came out for a bit as well.
Yeah, they said they knew. So that's how they ran the search. Like they knew she was just gonna up and quit before the season ended because she wasn't happy.
Right. Says here, there's no comment yet from Elsass or his team on the abrupt exit. According to sources, Elsass has been dealing with some serious personal issues, some of them possibly related to mental health, and the series producers became aware of. There's also conflicting information on whether he left or was let go. So so I know that the story doesn't have a specific answer to that, but so on his side, they're saying that he decided not to return, but on the production side, they're saying that he didn't show up for work on time. So I don't know which one.
I think at the end of the day, it sounds like he's probably let go, but it's also like he wasn't following orders and didn't really care.
Yeah,
a bit of a mix. It sounds like it's a bit of a mix, but at the end of the day, if you have a definitive decision, it probably sounds like he was let go.
Yeah. And here's where they talk about the COVID vaccination status. It goes, his COVID vaccination status is unknown. He believed to have used an exception during filming last season, which he seemed to confirm and quickly deleted Instagram story. He posed. Ooh, that's like an Eric thing. In February, in which they need an editor who's checking this, in which he questions whether vaccinations work. Now, is that the one that was posted back up, or is that the one that's still deleted?
The one that was deleted.
Okay. Yeah, he deleted then put it back up. Oh no, that one's completely deleted.
The mental health thing is the one he put back up, and he said he was in a facility.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Betty Ford Clinic.
But then it says here that the tennis superstar Novak Djokovic, I guess that's Djokovic, was denied entry over refusal to get a COVID vaccine. In Elsass's case, it was not a moot point because he did not attempt to return. So that's the one thing I said. There was somebody on Twitter who was mad that I even brought it up because he thought that I was insisting that he was let go because he was not vaccinated. And I'm like, no, I was bringing it up because it was part of the story, but it doesn't matter because he didn't even try to go back to work. So it doesn't matter if he was or wasn't at this point. He chose not to return.
Is that person in the chat today? We all know who that person is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Canada Graphs.
No, it wasn't Canada Graphs, but they can't be in the chat because I hid them from the channel forever.
Oh, edgy.
So yeah. Good luck with that. If you're typing now, you're typing into the void. Just so that person.
Oh, so that's why my messages aren't appearing. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
Okay, so with that being said, now that we've talked about that, this is a big issue for production because they're really close to like beginning the season, and now they have to deal with this. How do you think they're going to handle this situation? Do you think Do you think they have somebody in mind already? Do you think they're going to film without any scenes? Scenes without his character for the beginning. What do you think is going to happen?
I have the perfect guy.
Okay.
So they literally almost look exactly alike, and it's a person that Tyler Hoechlin handpicked himself to play his son on another production.
Beavis.
Just use Vince Mattis. He obviously has chemistry. He has chemistry with Tyler. Bring him in for a chemistry read with Bitsy. He's a up and coming actor. I've heard great things about him. Why not just bring him in?
Okay, two things with that. One is Hollywood typically frowns on that kind of stuff where you like just keep adding your family members to your production.
Nights, yeah.
Secondly, would he want to continue to have his dad give him jobs?
No, that's not his. That's not his. That's not his dad. He was cast. As
I thought you were talking about his actual son.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't think Tyler has made babies yet.
Okay,
but no, like he was.
You're talking about the one that played his son on Teen Wolf.
Yeah, he's playing. He just got cast as his son in the movie.
All right, so you're saying bring him over to Superman and Lois. I don't see. I mean. So first of all, you have to commit to staying in Canada and filming. So that would be one thing. Like, I don't know if, people typically don't want to be there. Sorry, Canada Graphs. They don't want to be there in Canada for.
You don't have to apologize. Even Canada Graphs doesn't want to be there.
So I mean, maybe there's been some fan casting ideas for him. I've seen some stuff on Twitter. I don't necessarily agree with all of them.
I think the big thing is, regardless of looks and everything, I think the main thing is that they need to get someone that you have to get the chemistry right, because regardless of like what was even going on, like I was going to call them Lanes, the Kents had pretty good chemistry as a family, especially once you got into season 2. So that's like a big mountain they have to climb, is trying to get that right.
Yeah, and
it's easier said than done, especially when it comes down to different elements of stories and stuff that goes on. Like, so I don't know what they're going to do. It'd be interesting to see what they do. Like, I don't know if they have it that like Johnathan walked into a laser beam face blew off, something like that. I'm not too sure exactly how they're going to go about it.
I have something edgy.
Yeah.
If they just don't acknowledge it,
I think that's the case. I don't think they're.
I think they will. I think that's the most likely thing. Yeah.
Black actor.
Yeah, you want to see? They're going to send people into like a complete tailspin if that happened. Okay, so a super chat here for Thomas Scott, £5 super chat. If Superman and Lois were in the Arrowverse, they could have sent Johnathan to Kara, but they wanted to be separate, so it's their problem. I mean, you're not wrong. They decided they wanted to split off. So
they technically could still send Johnathan somewhere.
They could.
You did want to go back to Metropolis. So.
How much? Okay, so what if the first 3 or 4 episodes they're like he's working in the Fortress of Solitude? He's still there or whatever.
Well, I don't think they'll do anything in regards to episode placement. Maybe they like take out some of the stuff that he's in the episode. But I think the character will still be in episode 1. But I think they'll probably just, if they need to give themselves an extra time, they can delay the filming for those scenes. So, they could be filming the episode 1 stuff for Johnathan during episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
If they want to, if they need to. They need that time.
Yeah. Some people are saying that they have to acknowledge it, and some people are saying they shouldn't mention it.
I think it's one of those flip of the coin. Like they couldn't. It's up to them. Maybe they can add it into the story if they want to.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So Secret Spidey said, I saw someone attack you for talking about bringing up Johnathan vaccine rumor. Why are people so stupid? That was the thing, is that they were saying that I had to prove that he was anti-vax and that I was suggesting that he was. And I said,
I am interested. That. Is it still such a edgy topic in America, the whole vaccination thing?
I didn't think it was.
Not really.
Because in Australia, and I see it online, but in Australia, it's like, we don't really care if you're vaccinated or not. It's just, you got to live with the consequences of not being vaccinated.
Yeah. So it's kind of
so no one really cares. Like no one, like when I saw all those, like I think it was Jennifer Aniston or something. It's like, I'm not going to be friends with anyone that's not vaccinated. It's like, what does it fucking matter?
Well, the thing is, the only reason I even brought it up is because that could have been the reason why he wasn't back in Canada.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the consequence, because I didn't realize
arguing about whether he was anti-vax or not. I didn't care because I'm like, I don't care if he is or if he isn't. Like I don't. Yeah.
If you're vaccinated, then it shouldn't bother you too much. But I was surprised that Canada was still like that, because there must be like one of the few countries that still is.
It is, yeah. That's why. Because
like Australia was extremely strict with them. We don't do it.
Yeah, so
you have to be vaccinated to leave the country, but to come in, you don't have to be.
Yeah.
So I was surprised when I heard that in Canada.
Who's an enhanced Team Eric member? Thank you so much for 15 months. Finished binging Stranger Things and simping for Sadie Sink. Max, if you guys see her, put in a good word for me.
Wait,
Max is a fan favorite from Stranger Things. I think a lot of people.
Was that the name or was that the chat?
That was the super chat, the Team Eric member chat.
Sound like a mouthful.
Yeah, it was. Perfect Image with the 1.9 super chat. Is Gotham Knights still on? As of right now, it is.
Yep, they're currently filming.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem though with what happened with Batgirl. I don't know if something it could be canceled. It could be done. And they could still be like, we don't want to put this out, so it's canceled. So I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, at this point with that, we thought it was canceled because of what's his face. So now I won't believe any. Maybe War Stew, but no, Eric Davis, whatever his name is. Yeah. I'm not going to believe anything about Gotham Knights until I hear it out of Mark Pedowitz's mouth.
Yeah.
All right? I'm not going to believe anything else.
Yeah. In other news, Paigey sent me this earlier. I just want to bring this up very briefly. Apparently now,
what did I send you?
YouTube Shorts is trying to copy TikTok by putting a YouTube watermark.
And what's the bet that the watermark follows the same sort of trajectory the TikTok one does? You know the TikTok watermark moves? Mm-hmm. If it's a longer video, I bet you the YouTube one does the exact same thing. So
in a different spot.
I think it will do in the exact same spot, so it covers the TikTok one.
Oh,
potentially. But then again, what if someone takes their YouTube short video and puts it on TikTok? Then the TikTok one would cover the YouTube short.
Oh my gosh, it's the battle of the.
So maybe they put them in different, like opposite ends. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. Staggervore with the 4.99 super chat. When a new season of a show starts, they usually put a previous recap. But do you think they'll use scenes of? Yeah. I don't think that they are going to change any of that. My prediction is that they will recast. If they do mention him looking different, it'll be a very brief comment just to acknowledge that they know that he looks different or whatever.
Something like Fresh Prince, how they did it.
Yeah, with Viv. Yeah, kind of like that. So yeah, I believe that's what's going to happen, but I don't think it'll change anything previously. Because think about this: they showed previous scenes from Batwoman season 1, I think, when Wallace Day had been recast as Kate Kane. So I don't think they care too much about that. It is weird though that if they think they're on the bubble for getting a renewal, that they would be so. But oh gosh, they tried the same thing with the last season of Black Lightning. I just realized this with China when she left and they had to recast the role.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Wow, that's oof. All right.
And then brought her back because they were like, okay, yeah, the show's ending, so might as well.
Perfect Image with another super chat. 19 super chat. What's the future for DC, and is Static Shock still on? What do you think, Lance?
I heard that it was being they're slowing development on it only because they don't have a director, which means Zaslav isn't looking for a director.
Right. Which is basically meaning that unless they find someone that wants to do it, that comes up and says, hey, I want to direct this,
gonna be shelved.
Yeah. So basically they're saying, if you want this to happen, you come to me and tell me you want to do it, because they're not looking for anybody. So there we go. Okay, so this is the funny story of the week. This was the one about the whole CW Next Star storyline. Their average viewer is 58 years old, and they got clowned so hard over this.
This picture is hilarious.
It is. That's why I thought this was funny. In my video, I explained why I believe the demographic.
I think that is an episode of Gogglebox where they were watching the thong song scene from Legends.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that's why they're pointing. Well, the lady's pointing.
So I think there's two factors here. Number one, and they talk about it in this article, is that people who are under like 50 years old, typically, especially the younger it skews, they watch things on streaming. They don't watch them when they're playing live, typically. Now, we are in a unique position because we don't want to be spoiled and we make content about the shows. So we watch it immediately. But the majority of people watch things a few hours later on streaming. So they're not watching it live. And that was specifically what this 58-year-old age demographic came from, was from live viewership. The other thing is I looked back, and from like 7 in the morning until 8 at night, the CW plays like really older skewing content, I guess.
Jerry,
like reality judges shows, and
you are not like the father.
So, and the reason why I say that is because when I was younger and I would go to my grandmother's house, like my mom would leave me there, to be babysat or whatever. Those were the kind of things that she would put on in the background, just like soap operas and things like that. And I'm not saying that specifically content for an older demographic. I'm saying that in my personal experience, that's what I've noticed, is that people who are older tend to like put that on in the background and just let it play. And that would count for live viewership, whether they're actually paying attention to it or not. So,
question: when you went to your grandma's, what treats would she give you when you were there?
I don't really remember. She would make whatever I wanted usually. So
flex.
So usually, a lot of sandwiches. We would do a lot of sandwiches at my grandmother. So
I think, what did any like biscuits or like candy?
No, probably candy. Yeah, I would say. But yeah, that's why I think that is. It goes, in reality, according to the Next Star president, COO Tom Carter, the average CW viewer is 58 years old. He goes, he thinks that's why the broadcast network is also the lowest rated. He thinks that the reason why their network is the lowest rated is because of the age demographic and the disparity between that and the 2 hours of primetime they do that's made for like young adults. I don't know.
Well, he's about to get a rude awakening come next year when the ratings are even lower.
Yeah, they're going to be lower. And then here, this is funny. Mike Royce, who was the executive producer for One Day at a Time, which is a soap opera, goes, I would have laughed if the average age was 40. 58 is true comic he had a writer, an executive producer for a soap opera, laugh when they dropped that number, because that's just so ridiculous.
Well, I think it's because it's just so intentionally misleading.
Yeah.
to try and push
Men of a certain age. Look, after Riverdale, stay tuned for Men of a Certain Age. That's hilarious. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The thing is that it's weird that they release that because it's so intentionally misleading. The whole thing.
The CW 2006 to 2022 superheroes, supernatural, sexy teens. The CW 2022 till The Bucket List, the series, Golden Girls, The Next Generation, and Walker. These tweets are hilarious. The average CW viewer tuning into Riverdale each week. What is it? Turn that up, dear. I'll be goddamn. He goes here. Finding out the average age of a CW viewer is 58 is the best thing that could have happened to me. Maybe it's that when you're 58, you finally have time to watch TV, time to sit back, crack a White Claw, and live vicariously through fake teens doing shit you always heard teens did. This one, you hear about this? Apparently, the average age of the CW viewer is 58 years old. 58 years old. Now I know what you're thinking. That's absurd, but you just think how long was Supernatural on for? I mean, this was the CW the whole time. Grandparents react or whatever. The average CW viewer watching organ harvesting cults and supernatural plots play out on Riverdale. For what it's worth, the younger viewers tend to stream CW programming, not watch it day and date on their living room Samsung. So yeah, and also it's confirmed.
Hold on. I don't have a Samsung TV. What do you have, Eric?
This LG.
Oh. Yeah. LG. What about you, Lance? He's got a Samsung and LG.
No, I have a Curve, a Samsung Curve.
Oh, see, look, but I do have a Samsung right there, though. I have a Samsung in here, but I use it as a monitor.
What are you doing? Sony is the only way to go.
Actually, over here, Sony is not.
Yeah, Sony does not do good TVs over here.
Is it because it's Japanese?
I think it might be just the fact that.
Well, actually, is it because we're closer to Japan?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably a shipping thing. There's nothing like I've had Sony before, but like if you go to like a Best Buy or something, you don't really see Sony out there. Honestly,
talk about modern.
Vizio is another one. Yeah, Flash Freak Vizio is another one. RCA is another one.
Vizio.
Well, over here, like in my state, everybody's just doing the Roku smart TVs.
Yeah.
That way they can just do streaming.
Well, I think Vizio actually has Roku built into their TVs now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But here it goes. Nexstar confirmed it's a 75% ownership in CW. They started immediately, apparently, with changing up things. And the 50-50 ownership will split down the middle with 12.5% going to both Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery,
man.
Any thoughts on this? Are you guys worried? Because I think this is pretty much the end of the CW. I don't think we'll be talking about it much anymore after next year.
Well, I think the main thing is I don't look whatever with the network. They can do whatever they want. I think the curiosity factor of it all is just what happens with shows like Superman and Lois and Stargirl, because surely Warner Brothers. I think that it wouldn't surprise me too much if there's like a thing in the contract where if Nexstar isn't going to front up the bill for these shows and stuff like that, that they can move them. Like we know that Superman and Lois performs incredibly well on HBO Max, and Stargirl performs above average. So do they move them to HBO Max, or is it the one thing I could see them doing? And I think I said this to you, Eric, is that they do like a co-partnership thing similar to what Stargirl did in season 1, where maybe it airs on HBO Max on a Sunday or a Monday, and then on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday or something, it airs on the CW as well.
Right.
So it's like a splitting of the production costs as well, potentially. And just
and what do you
general cost
of the you have show. Any thoughts on this, Lance?
Yep. I've already made up my mind that like after next year, I'm not gonna have anything on the CW. Like I'm just gonna delete that from my DVR recordings altogether. But the other,
but you like Walker though, right? Don't you like the Walker show?
Yeah, but is that really gonna survive this? Like
I feel like that's in a good spot.
I think that's the one show that will. I think that's the one.
What about the
franchise that will?
Yeah, the spinoff. Yeah, I think both of those are very good positions. Honestly,
I'll still have those, I guess. But the one thing I was thinking about is the whole merging of HBO Max and Discovery Plus and how they're skewing everything. It seems to me like that whole merged network, what streaming service, whatever it's going to be called, Warner Max, just Discover BO, what
Discover BO, Discover body odor,
whatever it's called. I honestly think it's just going to be reality TV. Like, it's not going to be any animation. They basically got rid of all of that.
Right.
I don't see Stargirl or Superman and Lois or even Gotham Knights making it to there. Like, he doesn't seem to really care like that.
So I have a feeling David Zaslav said that they will renegotiate next season to see if their values align, basically between, their partnerships and everything. I think Paigey hit the nail on the head. I think that Next Star is going to be like, or at least they're thinking similar to the way David Zaslav is thinking when it comes to like the content. They're going to not want to pay for these shows. Like what is it, Tim? What is his name? The head of
Tom Carter.
No, the guy, the Next Star guy.
Tom Carter.
Is it? Oh, I thought you were joking. Yes. Okay. So him, he wants to do basically what David Zaslav is doing with HBO, like maximize revenue with low cost content. And I think that when it comes time to renew like Superman and Lois and Stargirl and all these other shows, they're going to want to foot the bill to WB and say, WB Discovery, you need to pay for these shows to go on our network. You need to pay for the production cost. And David Zaslav is going to go, and David Zaslav is going to be like, no, we don't want to pay for these production costs. And then that's going to be it. I think that's what's going to happen.
And then we're going to get a public statement from Mark Pedowitz, like, yeah, we told Todd Helbing and the show and Jeff Johns that they needed to treat these seasons as if they were going to be their last. Meanwhile, Stargirl ended. They wrapped filming last year.
Right.
So how did you tell them that, sir?
Right.
How did you tell them that?
True. We'll see if that happens. But I was gonna say, well, first let's do the super chat here. B. Allen Hart with the $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. I'm 54 and I have no interest in shows like Judge Whoever or Guess the Cupcake. That is hilarious because I know there are shows about cupcakes all over Discovery Plus and all the Food Network.
What channels. Is the obsession with cupcakes like?
I think it's because they're smaller. And
it's low cost.
Yeah. You don't have to use a knife.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Low cost. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think these shows are good. I will also think about this. If both the CW and HBO Max are looking for low cost reality shows, it's going to be the same channels. They're going to be basically putting out the same content.
I think that's the whole point.
That's bad though.
But I think that's broadcast TV as a whole. Like I think broadcast TV as a whole is going down the same thing. You could argue that like
but HBO Max was not broadcast TV. It was a stream.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like it's not like what the CW is doing is unique. Like they're just sort of doing what everyone else is doing. Just they're not going to get as high ratings as some of the like the Bachelorette or whatever those shows and American Idol and all that crap. Like.
So Jacob has, I don't know if this is a troll or if this is a real comment. There's a reason Discovery was able to buy Warner Brothers. I have faith in Zaslav's plan. Also, reality TV is fantastic.
I'm assuming it's a troll because it's...
Yeah. Okay, so but two things here. One is that Zaslav's plan, until I actually see some real DC stuff moving forward, I'm going to assume it was all for investors. That entire spiel about a 10-year plan was all for investors, right? That's what I think.
Yeah.
The other thing is the reason why Discovery was able to buy Warner Brothers has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the content. Discovery has been putting out cheap content to make money in return. To buy a network that is used to putting out scripted content that takes a bigger loss because of the fact that they're putting out content that has got long-term impact. Discovery is looking for basically... Like nobody goes back and gets excited about watching previous seasons of The Great Cook-Off. You know what I mean? Like nobody does. It's completely different content. Like it really is. It's like taking someone who runs a successful furniture store and putting them in charge of a movie theater, right? And going, oh, well, their furniture store was successful, so that means the movie theater is going to be successful. It's not. It's not. He might be a good businessman, but if every good businessman, business person was able to move from one company to another and fix their problems, we would have nothing but successful companies. And that's not the reality of it. So until this plan of his actually moves forward, I can't say that I have faith in anybody, right? That's how I feel about it. Reality TV isn't bad. You're right. But does reality TV align with DC? No, not at all. So I think there's a lot of properties on HBO Max, and we're going to get into it because I have a whole article ready to talk about this, that are getting acts that actually align with Discovery, but he's axing them anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't trust a guy named Zaslav anyway.
So it's not a troll. I watch it with my girlfriend. It's great. Okay, good. I'm glad you like it. But his plan for DC to just assume that he has their best interest in mind based on what they're doing right now is a little weird. And I want you to remember all of this when I get to the article that talks about how they're treating the people that work for them. Because it's night and day, right? All right. Anyway, so Staggerville right here with the $4.90 super chat. If they sideline more DC content and animation shows, they're going to end up losing more consumers. Well, that's the thing. They don't care right now. What they care about is saving money. That's all they care about. They don't care about the fandom. They don't care about the loyalty of the people that watch their stuff. They don't care about any of that. And there's no lack of stories from people that have worked for Discovery over the years that say otherwise. Like, it's a company that just doesn't care. Just basically say goodbye to all the stuff you love. Just be prepared for it to go away.
Yeah, because basically they confirmed that Young Justice is gone.
Yeah,
again for the second time, which sucks.
So the other thing is that they're talking about another DC streaming network. I remember an article about that. They were going to try again to do another like DC exclusive streaming network.
I think that was just somebody just talking. That literally was just a picture of the regular DC website.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just running off.
I don't think it was that. I think it was where you could get like digital things. So it was like you could purchase stuff. So instead of getting it through like Apple or Google Play, you get it through the DC website.
I feel like that's such an unnecessary app, though. Like, I don't think.
Well, I don't think it's an app. I think it's just a part of their website.
Yeah. Part of the Discovery website, then.
No, part of DC.com.
This is so confusing. Like,
I think you made it. I think you made it confusing, Eric, by misunderstanding it.
There is some static. I don't know where it's coming from, though. I don't know where it is.
It's from Life.
Is it okay?
It's not for me because I can hear it. I'm gonna blame Lance because I've never heard it before.
Well, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it all the time.
What are you feeling it?
No, I'm not feeling it. I am hearing it from time to time, but not all the time.
Can you hear it now when I mute it?
People are saying it's your mic, so I'm guessing it's your mic, Lance.
We muted now, so
yeah, I don't know.
Did you just get static of that?
I don't know.
Is it me?
I don't know. The chat's saying it's you, so should you take the L then? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about She-Hulk.
Yeah, it might be my cord. I think that's what it is.
Let's talk a little bit about She-Hulk. Have we all watched the first episode? I know, Lance, you did your review. I watched your review.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, thank you. Did Paigey watch it? No, because I gave Paigey a shout out at the end, and he never.
Yeah, I can confirm I did not watch it.
Did you watch She-Hulk though, Paigey? Did you watch?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're attractive, Paigey.
No, because her face looked like pudding. Like it was all over there. I was wondering what the fuck was going on.
So, we could talk about the episode, but I really want to talk about just the controversy surrounding the show itself, because I know this isn't a Marvel centric like stream.
But you are a Marvel shield, so you have to bring it in. Yeah.
I guess I am. I mean, I have it on the back of my chair.
I'm trying to move away from my cord. So
oh my gosh. There was like a preemptive hate campaign for She-Hulk that started like 2 years ago, right? So it started like back when the show was announced, like November 2019, I think is when.
I guess it was, yeah.
It was when the show was announced. And it started back then, and it's just been this ongoing thing. And Apparently, it got review bombed over at IMDb because now Rotten Tomatoes tries to prevent that. It's not 100%. Obviously, some stuff does get through, but there was a lot of review bombing going on for the show. And I just want to address that because that's the one thing that, like, it's fair enough if you don't like something. I'm never going to tell people they have to, like, you have to like a TV show or you have to like a movie. That's obviously, I would.
You abuse me for not liking Survivor. I still haven't recovered for that abuse.
I'm sorry. It's fair enough if you watch it and then you don't like it, right? Like, I think that's a fair. So, like, I always go, okay, it's not for everybody. But this campaign started before the first episode even came out. Like, it was already getting 1-star reviews. And the episode had not even aired yet. And I just think it's unfortunate that we live in a time where a community like this, where we're already struggling, especially with DC now, to get content out that we want and things like that, that people, and I think they said they went through and looked at the age group, it was like men in their 30s, basically were exclusively downvoting it, that you set something up for failure just because you don't want to watch it. I mean, I just have to put that out there. These people didn't want to watch the show, so they went and gave it a 1-star review before it ever even came out, meaning they never intended to watch it and give a fair assessment. They didn't even pretend. They didn't even pretend to go, I watched it and I hated it, right? They didn't even pretend because it wasn't even out yet. So it's like, do we have to deal with this now with everything moving forward? Is like if a DC releases a movie or a show that people don't like, now they're just going to go and start hating on it before it even comes out? Like what do we do about this? Like, how do we just ignore it? Like, what is the answer to this?
I don't think there is.
I mean,
I think that's the answer. I don't think there is. Like, you can't stop review bombing.
It's the
exact same. It's
not stop it, but what can these websites do to prevent it? Because like this happened before the show even came out.
But it also goes the other way around.
What's that?
The people that give 5-star reviews when they know it's on a 5-star show.
Yeah, but if they,
I know what you mean. Like,
my argument's not afterwards. Like, if you watch it and you want to give it 1 star and be like, I hated it, and you're still being disingenuous, there's nothing that can be done about that.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the preemptive stuff where people.
But I think that's the thing. I think there's no way you can do it unless it's like through the system that Rotten Tomatoes does for the movies, where you have to like prove that you saw it. I don't know how they do that because I never reviewed anything on there like through that means. But I don't know what, like, you meant to like take a selfie, like watching She-Hulk.
No, I mean like if they open up the reviews for the public before the show comes out, it's inevitably going to be review bombed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the correct way to do it would be to like have it start like at midnight or give it 24 hours after the show comes out for people to go in and review it. I don't understand the need to open up public reviews when the public hasn't.
Oh, I know what you mean. So before like anyone's even got a chance to see it.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I think, you can't do that on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes now actually, I think you have to have an account in Disney Plus to.
No, I think it's just for the movies. You have to prove that you saw it. I know what the
there's are. Some sort. Yeah, there's some sort.
I think
of
for TV,
them,
I think for TV it's like free reign. It doesn't matter. But I think for the movies you have to prove it. But like, you can't rate there until it's actually open. Like, even with their critic reviews, they sometimes take like 48 hours to go public after something's come out.
Yeah,
just because I guess they have to like screen them or something like that. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what places are like Metacritic, but most people go either to Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. So IMDb is definitely the one that needs to, put like a timer as to when things go public or as to when you can actually start rating stuff.
Right. What about you, Lance? Any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I agree with what you were saying, but I just got something on Twitter about your account that's kind of weird. 3WP Productions sent me that, like, he was a member, but now he can't even get on.
On my account?
Yeah, it says only owned brand accounts can be used to join channels on YouTube.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that's how I was figuring.
Oh, he's here now. He says, my membership thing is back. It freaked me out. I don't know what that is.
It was just, it sounded like it was a YouTube glitch, but it's all good now.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're here. What does it say again?
Eric shat himself then.
I was like,
I'm like, is YouTube blocking people's members now?
No, I think Eric thought his channel was screwed.
and it was going to be your fault if that happened. Like,
my fault.
Paige's fault. Yeah.
It said only owned brand accounts can be used to. I'm like, Eric owns these accounts now.
That sounds to me like YouTube turned on something and it was wrong, and then they turned it off again. They had to reboot their computer or something. Anyway, your thoughts on like review bombing before the show even comes out? Any on that?
I think it's really stupid. Like I agree with what you were saying, like 100%. As far as like what they can do about it's like really nothing that they can do about it. It's just people being, well, for lack of better terms, an idiot.
Yeah.
Like all those, like basically it was just dude bros that were like hating on it because it's a female-led show. Mm-hmm. They did it to Captain Marvel, even though
Batwoman.
They did it to Batwoman, first and second season, rightfully so. They did it to Javicia before she even put on the cape and cowl. It was weird.
There are predictable triggers for stuff like that. I'm just wondering, as from the standpoint of being review bombed before it comes out, like Paige said, and everybody's pointed out, I'm not delusional. I know that you can totally do it once the show comes out, but at least then you can pretend to give a shit. Like if you're reviewing it before, do they not think the studios are going to look at that and go, oh, how did this person give it a 1-star review 48 hours before it even came out to the public? Yeah. That doesn't make any sense because it's got the date, time, and your account information.
Omega. Omega said Batwoman.
Yeah. Paige says, did Eric just fart or was that Lance's mic? I think it was Lance's mic.
Might have been both.
It's my chair. It squeaks.
I think Eric farted and used Lance's microphone.
Probably. Yeah. Robert with the Team Eric member chat. When Deadpool comes out, they can break the fourth wall together. I don't know if they'd ever cross over, but I even said in my review that there is a similar style with that fourth wall breaking that they share.
To me, it's Ferris Bueller.
Yes, it is. It is very Ferris Bueller.
That's what they're basing it off. Yeah. Deadpool's is different.
Yeah,
I think they're doing it like Ferris Bueller style.
I think they could still do it though. I mean, I feel like they could still pull it off.
But like people were complaining, like talking about the comedy was why are they making so many jokes? I'm like, it's in the description. It's a comedy. It's a 30-minute sitcom. Like,
but I'll be honest, it wasn't so much just jokes as it was tone. Like, I didn't find it to be necessarily. To be honest. That's so funny. It was a humor tone.
I think the thing is that people probably should have known going into it that, I mean, when one of the head writers is the woman who wrote Pickle Rick for Rick and Morty, like that's the type you're gonna get. You're either gonna be for it or you're just gonna hate it or not. Like to me, I didn't care about the comedy at all. Like to me, I think the show's just fine. It's just I think it's fine. I'm interested to see like where the story goes. Like the first episode didn't grip me, but it also didn't turn me away.
So it rubbed you ever so slightly.
Well, no, because then I'd be all for it. Because it rubs a rub, you know what I mean? But
well, the thing is, the people that saw the early 4 episodes says the first episode is the weakest episode of the.
Yeah, the first episode felt like it was. I have to ask, did you think that? Because when I was watching it, it felt like it was all over the place. And I was wondering, is this stuff from other episodes? Like, were they meant to smash the origin story all together in one episode?
I tried to find the article before I went live, but I couldn't find it. There was an article that came out like maybe 4 or 5 days ago that said that they switched the order of episodes because that particular episode was supposed to come later. And so they chopped up the first episode to fit in that.
And then maybe did like a reshoot or two quickly to make it. Yes. Yeah, because it felt like it was a bit.
Yeah, that was confirmed.
But I mean, honestly, I didn't mind the whole thing they did with the origin story because, like, this is the first show where we don't have to, like, WandaVision. We had to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Sam wasn't Cap; he was just Falcon. Loki is always going to be Loki, but we didn't know what was going on, etc. This is the first one where we just jump right in. We get the origin, but we also get to see, she's already out and about. She's doing what she do.
But you know why I think it feels weird? Is because when they have that courtroom scene where she turns into She-Hulk, it's filmed and edited in a way where it's meant to be like, oh my god moment. But it's like we just had 20 minutes of her on the island learning to control it and seeing her willingly transform. So that courtroom scene adds nothing.
I actually think the entirety of the first episode was supposed to be completely different, and they just put in the episode with her and Bruce training. That's what I think.
Yeah,
happened.
I love that fight though.
Yes, that was good. That was good. They fixed a lot of the VFX problems, which I think was good. I mean, a lot of people were.
Oh yeah, like Hulk looked good. I think when like you didn't see She-Hulk's face, she was good.
They did say that one of the hardest things was the emotion part. Like
yeah, I don't know if it's going to be better, but if it's, I don't think it was. Yeah, that was.
I mean, they honestly they did cut out a lot of the She-Hulk transformation scenes, like all together, to save on the VFX. So they already said they cut.
So basically, she's going to do like the Flash does on the CW, where there might be a scene where you see like wind blowing and then a little bit of flash of light or whatever, instead of seeing him run. So with She-Hulk, it'll go from like her, and then you'll hear the noise of the transformation.
Or it's like when it's like how you don't get the flash ring scene every single time.
Yeah.
And also at each point it's like, oh my god, another 10 seconds of watching her transform. Like you're gonna get over it after like 3 times you see her transform to She-Hulk. It's more interesting in like she unwillingly transforms or something. Then it's worth doing the whole thing because she's freaking out, going, "Oh crap, I'm transforming when I don't want to."
And there are a couple super chats that I'm going to answer in just a second as soon as we get done with the She-Hulk discussion. I mean, but
even with when Hulk first transformed, in the when they first got into the accident, you literally just see the face, and then even with her first transformation, you see her back, and that's literally it. And then she runs through the forest.
Now, I do want to acknowledge also there are some valid criticisms of the show that I think people have brought up that aren't just completely hyperbolic nonsense.
I think that's the issue that we're seeing, and I think you get it sometimes with shows when, like, She-Hulk's just fine. Like, it's like a 7 or something like that.
I gave it a 7.5. So
yeah, but Marvel shills, so you're obviously going to give it a bit more. So,
oops.
I know turn over your right shoulder, Lance. Right. There you go. There's the answer. Anyway.
Wait. Hold on. I'll fix it. Oh, crap. Oh, never mind. It's DC. That works. All right.
Yeah, I know. I can see a Funko Pop or two in there that might be Marvel. I'm just going to assume they're Marvel. But like that's the issue when you get like a thing that's fine, but it gets review bombed. You're going to get people to say, no, it was a 5 out of 5. It was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Then it just creates this discourse where it's like people have to try and either
I mean, like a lot of the arguments, like I've seen.
That happens with multiple things, obviously.
Yeah, it does. But I see stupid stuff like, Titania her costume didn't look great.
It looked comical, but it's a comedy and it's a comic book.
I feel like stuff like that is like, okay, maybe her kicking looked weird. They showed the wire fighting for that. I get it. But these are the same people that say they want more practical effects. So what do you want? Do you want VFX or do you want practical? Like, what do you want? Like, I don't know. But then the argument like, she took her shoes off before she transformed. That is a joke from the comics. You can't ask for something to be comic accurate and then complain that they do it because that just shows that you don't read the fucking comics.
Ooh, F-bomb. Demonetized.
It's such a weird complaint. They made a point. Like, and I can tell you right now, women's shoes are highly expensive. So it was a funny joke. I like Louis Vuittons for women are like sometimes go up to like $1,200 to $2,000 for a pair of shoes. So the fact that she took them off because she didn't want to ruin them is funny. That is part of the humor of the show.
And how her friend just crept back out there like she was so scared and then put them down like, I'm just gonna sit them right here for you.
It's just funny. Like that's part of the humor of the show. So I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's and the show is made for people that know that. And I've also seen complaints that people are like, this show is just made for this group or whatever, this demographic. But then these are the same people that defend the chart that David Zaslav used talking about demographic separation of properties. But then they're mad that a show could be made for a primarily female audience. Make it make sense because it doesn't make any sense.
There's a running theme in the chat that you may be triggered, Eric.
I'm not triggered. I'm just getting passionate about it.
I mean, I agree because it is weird, and I can only imagine how they're gonna freak out once they realize that she's gonna be using Tinder and the whole dating aspect and the sexual innuendos of She-Hulk. Yeah. Like they haven't read a comic. She's a very she's more confident as She-Hulk.
All the stuff they're doing in the show is very reminiscent of the character from the comics. So
do you think because Disney bought Fox, there could be a snoo reference?
I don't know. maybe, possibly. But
or they play that episode of Futurama in the background of an episode or something.
I want to bring up so the valid criticism that we heard about the show were like the CGI issues, which they seem to fix with with time or whatever. Some of the criticisms is the dialogue is a little cheesy and cringy. I even mentioned there was some stuff on there that was kind of stupid. I don't necessarily think the jokes about Captain America being, has he ever had sex or whatever, it wasn't my favorite line of humor. But
let's be honest, Eric, it was shit. Like, it was shit. Well, it was shit from the get-go. The fact it was the mid-credit scene.
Yes.
It was shit. Like, it wasn't funny at all. Like, at least I didn't find it funny. I was like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
It was like the most lowbrow you could go. Like,
it is.
Bottom of the barrel.
But I even used that term in my review. I said there are lowbrow moments in this, right? But the show is aware that it is doing lowbrow humor.
But I think there's only so much you can be self-aware to the point where it becomes annoying. We have to wait
and see if this is going to.
Yeah, that's the hope, is that they got the
right.
It's a joke that they wanted to make, and they got it out of the way in the first episode. Right. Because imagine if it was something where it was like it took 5 episodes to get to the punchline. Yes. You'd be like, oh my god.
So
who greenlit
those
that?
Kinds of criticisms are valid to me because that's subjective stuff. That's stuff that like you may not like or whatever. I get it. But then stuff like, how does her hair go from
it's like
straight to curly? And I'm like, it's a fucking comic book show.
It's like they don't read the. They're like, oh, that just seems weird.
Your biggest concern is how her hair changes?
I mean, come on. The Hulk has literally 12 different types of personalities within him.
Nobody's laughing that the Hulk is wearing glasses. Like, that's to them, that's acceptable. But her hair changing, that's unbelievable. We can't believe that's not a thing.
Nobody's worried that they're encouraging teenage alcoholics with the amount of alcohol they consumed in this one episode.
I mean, didn't Hulk's hair change in the earlier Avengers movies?
It's always changed.
Does it change now? It's at least I know it's got the salt and pepper going on right now, but I know does it change?
It's different because Mark Ruffalo's hair is like
longer. It's longer as well. He goes to like a
little fade. So
I just think it's weird. This reminds me of the whole like
Eric's hair.
This reminds me of the whole Batwoman argument about the wig on the suit and the hair under the suit and everything. Does it fit? Could it actually work? How does she get it on so quickly? It's a freaking superhero series.
They only do that about females. Nobody ever wondered, how did Curtis braid his hair so fast?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
How does nobody recognize when Nora's in the suit and she has the same hairstyle?
Right.
With just a mask on.
Yeah. True. So my issue is though that I think the first episode of the show, at the very least, was an average, like just an average Marvel show. Like there was nothing inherently awful about it, and I don't think there was anything amazing and through the roof about it. I enjoyed it a little bit more because I think it does fall into like a 7 objectively. But I think you could argue that people would see it a little bit less than that or a little bit more than that if they wanted. But
I think it. Because the thing is, they're going for that sitcom. Well, it's not even a sitcom, really. It's like a dramedy, like 30-minute dramedy. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those things are just forgettable.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, when you go for that, you are going to possibly fall into that pitfall, like that pit of being
I will say it does make me laugh a little bit that everybody got, or not everybody, but
I must say quickly, it's a weird show to be triggered over.
It is absolutely.
It's a weird show to be triggered over.
I think it is a sunk loss fallacy. Let me explain this. These guys had spent 2 years basically trashing the show before it came out. There's no way under any circumstance they would watch it and go, oh, it's not that bad. Because that takes away from the narrative that the show was going to be a disaster, which is why the idea of having to proactively downvote a series to help ensure its failure just goes to show that they had no faith that the show was going to actually be bad. They were projecting that. They knew the show had the potential to be good, but they wanted to jump ahead and try to create a story that the show was bad by manipulating the results. That is a scam, and that is why it's just stupid.
I'm calling this now. When Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out, and Shuri is in the suit, it's going to get review bombed.
Yeah.
They are going to rip this film to shreds. The Marvels, best believe they're gonna tear that apart. That's 3 female leads.
Yeah. So it's going to be 3 times the
3 times plus 2 of them are diverse, and the other one is just Brie Larson, who people don't like anyway for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna lose their minds.
I think it's funny. I want to bring something up that's hilarious to me because I saw a video online where somebody mentioned this, and I've talked about it a couple times. Is the line in the episode that triggered them the most was the one she was talking about, like how it feels to be a woman and walking down the street and being, sexually harassed while
I think that might have been a reference to Arthur.
Who?
Every day when you're walking down the street.
Oh. So, but that line triggered them, and they leave out the end of it. They leave out the end of that particular scene where she says, "And we die." They basically can be killed or murdered for, in some of the more extreme circumstances. But they leave that out because they're like, oh, Bruce suffered all this trauma, but sure, you get catcalled, right? But let a straight guy get hit on by a gay man and all of a sudden they're ready to fight someone. So they understand what sexual harassment is. They just don't acknowledge that they participate in it.
Look, okay, I think Eric set this up for a public apology for myself. So Eric has accused me of sexualizing him through the twerking and the chocking
all the time.
I was going to make this announcement during the 250th episode, but I am openly apologizing to treating Eric like a piece of meat.
Thank you.
And will I continue to do it? Of course, I'm going to continue to do it. But I feel like I'm obliged to apologize for this sexualization of Mr. DJ Eric's Reloaded. Hopefully you can accept my apology, Mr. DJ.
I accept your apology, and I expect even more harassment in the future.
Don't worry, your wish shall come true.
Speaking of She-Hulk stuff, apparently some YouTuber is upset and went on a video rant because in an interview, Tatiana wore a shirt that says "Support Trans."
I saw that. Yeah.
Support what?
Support trans youth. It was on an interview. It was on Disney Plus, I think.
Well, they know it because it was on a Disney product, or because she wore it.
Yeah,
just because she wore it. Like
she didn't even say anything about it. It was just a shirt that she had on during the interview. So now they made
a YouTube video of it.
Yeah, they've made several about it. And keep in mind, I saw the video. It's like 30 seconds. It's not even a long video. It's short. So
every day when you're walking down the street.
All right, we got some super chats. Let's move on. Emmanuel Robertson here with the $5 super chat. Superman and Lois and All American are 2 shows that have the highest chance to survive other platforms. All American does incredible numbers on Netflix. Do you think All American is in a good place like Walker?
Well, it's very important to remember All Americans had a few seasons now, so they might be coming to an end. Like they might only do like another season or 2.
What about the spinoff?
Ooh, there is a spinoff, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure how the spinoff performs.
It's obvious. It's. I mean, I would say it wasn't performing too well on its own on HBO Max, which is why they went and threw it on Netflix as well.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, it was literally the week after it was on HBO Max. A week later, they were doing like promotional videos talking about we're now on Netflix. It was weird because
that's not normal. Like, they don't normally do that.
Yeah, especially because they did that whole deal back in 2019 where all new shows go to the Max.
I don't know then. The only reason Superman and Lois is in a different place is they have to pay for that IP. They have to basically all the stuff that gets used on that show has to be approved by WB Discovery, and they have to pay rights for the names. That's part of the reason why Superman was only allowed a few times in Supergirl, because they had to approve that and pay for it every time they used it. So
they have to pay for him to get utterly humiliated each time. Like,
yeah, they did. That was part of the contract. Gamerman here with a $5 super chat. Would you want to see Benjamin Poindexter return to Daredevil Born Again if Daredevil Netflix series is still canon? Who is Benjamin? You're talking about Bullseye?
He might be too if the show All Rise is.
I always forget his real name. I just know him as Bullseye.
Yeah, if the show All Rise is still going, I highly doubt.
Because he's a regular on that, right?
He's a regular on there, and it got picked. The show got revived on OWN, which is another Warner Brothers thing, and you know what they just did with those people that are a part of the OWN network. So I mean, he could show back up. Depends on when are they trying to film?
I don't even know. I think it starts filming next month, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope he wouldn't show back up.
Daredevil, isn't it filming next year?
I thought it was coming out next year. Is it filming?
I think it starts filming next year.
Well, then there's a possibility then, I guess, if that's the case.
If he's free, but I don't see the point of him showing up. He already did the damage.
I mean, they just had that teaser at the end of the season 3 where he was being augmented, I think is what they're...
That might be too dark for Disney.
I don't know. Disney's got that 18 plus thing now that you have to do.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. And they are doing Deadpool. I forgot.
Deadpool and Logan are on there as well. So maybe. All right. So let's move on to the next topic, which is everybody's favorite topic.
Power Rangers.
No, not quite.
Oh. Does Paige watch Power Rangers though?
Is this?
I haven't watched Power Rangers since I was like 8.
Really?
Actually, I think I watched one of the movies when I was like 10 or 11. It was one that had the Van Halen Dream song in it. We'll go higher and higher.
Oh no.
Well, I'm 30 and I still watch it, Paige. Judge me all you want.
I will judge.
So let me ask this question: the newest Power Rangers movie, was it good or bad? What do you guys think?
The one that was like in 2017, it was a mixed bag. I like the different I like the cast. It just could have been written better. It's no reason why you don't have them in the suits until the very end of the movie.
I thought they were trying to do too much with it.
Yeah.
The morphing sequence where you stand in a circle and basically use the power of love for each other to morph.
You like Krispy Kreme?
I remember there was a lot of Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. I like Krispy Kreme, so I don't mind. So.
And there was a lot of Dutch angles. I felt like they just watched Thor or some shit and put a lot of that in there.
There was. All right, Eric Watkins with a $50 super sticker. Thank you so much, Eric. I don't think I've ever seen the cheerleader one. Are they specific to like the amount that you spend? I don't know if they are, but thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome. If you have any questions, drop one in the chat. I'll be glad to answer it.
Is this the first time that they've ever used a normal picture of Ezra?
I think it is, because now the narrative has changed, right? The narrative has changed.
So they can't use makeup photos.
Yeah, but they've also used one from like a while ago as well.
Well, let me say this, okay? I think that this picture was handpicked by WB because this was an exclusive for Variety, and they wanted Ezra to look a certain way in the picture because they were tired of those same pictures of Ezra with like long,
he looks
sparkly
12.
hair and stuff like that on it. So, okay, so I want to talk about this right here. One of the biggest criticisms I got on my video where I talked about this was that I said that the general public does not get to accept this apology.
Who criticized you for your opinion? Never mind.
Well, yeah, it's the internet. But the reason why is the statement here was, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I'm suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. Two things. One, there's a lot of people that say we should not be celebrating this because of all the damage that Ezra has done to the people that were involved. I will say by saying that it's good that someone is getting help for a mental health issue, I'm not celebrating that. I'm happy that person is getting the help that they need. It doesn't forgive anything that they've done, right? That's number one. Number two, the reason why I said that I don't think we get to accept this apology is the stuff that happened did not happen to us. It happened to other people. That would be like somebody coming in my house and committing a crime and then going out and apologizing to the public, and the public's like, oh, it's okay, it's not a problem. But it is a problem. It was in my house and I don't like it. So the people that can accept Ezra's apology are the people that have been done wrong by Ezra, not the general public. That's why this is a PR statement, right? This is a PR statement.
Yeah, 100%. He didn't say any of that.
Because I don't think that there's been any updates to the story. And this seems to me like WB is like, we spent almost $300 million on a movie. We want it to come out, and you have to at least pretend that you give a shit, right? Does everybody feel the same way, or am I the only one that feels that way about it?
You're the only one that feels that way.
Okay, so how do you feel, Paige?
I feel the same way.
Omega feels a certain way. Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll get higher and higher.
Who wrote it for him? The PR people, Warner Brothers PR people.
I wouldn't. Zaslav wrote it himself. Ezra went to him, and this is the whole conversation. Daddy Zazzy, I know we were given those 3 options. I want to take the first one, but I cannot come up with what to say. He says, "Don't worry, I got you. You're still our Flash."
Oh, so here's the deal, Thomas. I totally understand what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. It is our money that will be paying to go see this movie, right? But that's why this is so alarming, because they are preying on the consumer's feelings when we're not the ones that have been harmed by Ezra, right? So that is the big thing. Ezra has to show that they are remorseful and they want to make things better, and it takes a lot more work than this.
Well, I think the issue is that I think it'd all be a crock of shit anyway, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have kept on breaking the law and kept on assaulting and abusing people and kept on being an idiot on social media and kept on hiding. I mean,
take care, Alan. The Alan.
Is that like, it gets to a point where you just keep doing stuff and like, is it like, I don't know, the point of no return? Like at this point, it is the point of no return.
So I see a lot of people saying second chances and trying to compare this to Harley.
But this is like the 17th millionth.
Yeah,
chance.
It's not the same thing.
Ezra got his second chance after not being fired after the Iceland incident.
Right.
Which was
so we have
Flash.
Iceland then given a second chance. Hawaii, multiple things in Hawaii given a second chance. The stuff with the underage person from Instagram gave him a second chance. The stuff with everything that went on in Vermont gave him a second chance. Like, how many second chances?
Did I say Eric instead of Ezra?
You
Sorry.
Probably did. You probably
They
did.
do the same type of stuff. So
how many second chances do we give to someone? You know what I mean? That's kind of the issue I have with it. But I am willing to say that I am glad that Ezra is getting help. Honestly, that's fine. But there's a lot more work that has to be done. This is lip service. Lip service means absolutely nothing to me personally. Action is what matters to me. Making meaningful change is what matters to me. If Ezra truly feels responsible and sorry for what they've done, then it is their responsibility to make that right with the people they've affected, not us, because we matter because we're paying for tickets to a movie. That's not cool. That's not cool. So I need to see more. And the Hartley thing is different because Hartley made stupid, edgy jokes and statements like half a decade ago when the whole firing thing happened. After Hartley had shown through action that they were a changed person. But, you know, I saw when it happened, I'm like, there's no way that Hartley gets out of this, right? Based on what went down and the climate that we were in at the time. So I just knew that was not going to work. Ezra has been given a very privileged position of doing whatever the fuck they want and getting away with it and still having a job. So it's a very unique situation, personally. Well, Introverted Unicorn, there's celebs that did. What about the Batgirl movie did nothing? The Batgirl movie and everyone involved with that did nothing and still lost more than Ezra did.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I mean,
it's a lot. I'm in F-bomb world this stream. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I can echo that sentiment in the words of the illustrious Jay Garrick. It's just crazy that it's gone this far.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, when that whole Twitter article, whatever it was, dropped talking about they was giving him those 3 options, and then a day later, well, this came out. But they're constantly saying, "Oh, they put so much money in this film. We don't want to scrap this film." I get it. I get it from a business standpoint. You don't want to. But you've showed us that you're willing to do it. 2 times in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And they did nothing wrong. You told these people while they were at home, but you didn't tell them. They found out over you posted over social media. Didn't have the decency to tell them. Like every person that you've asked and just cut loose, you didn't have the decency to tell any of them, dating all the way back to April.
Yeah.
They found out on social media. They found out like they were normal, like they were us. Like they didn't matter. Yeah. They were gonna like but yet you're protecting him because this is the one cog in your plan that if you remove this, it causes everything to fall.
Yeah.
Which brings it back to what you said. There is no 10-year plan. Right. This whole thing lies on the shoulders of this film.
Right.
It's just making WB look bad all around.
The other thing I want to point out is what Thomas says here. This is what I meant by like promotion when I talked about Batgirl. You're right. There are probably tons. And I think Paige, we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on stream or not, but there are probably tons of things merchandising wise connected to this movie that cannot be turned away. So basically they are in the hole.
There'd
be so much money.
Toys made, backpacks made, stickers made, posters made, whatever toothbrushes made, toothpaste, brand deals with like food, like and like the Flash eats. I think I was talking to you, Eric, about how the Flash eats a lot. So there's gonna be like a pizza brand, a fast food, like a Burger King,
Happy
or like
Meals.
Doritos.
Oh yeah, you're probably
Mountain
right,
Dew or Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's going to be all over. And the issue with that is that you're not putting Batman on there. You're putting the Flash on there. So it's going to have Ezra Miller on there.
Batgirl did not test poorly with audiences. Batgirl's score is identical to almost every other movie that the DCU has ever had. That's a completely hyperbolic narrative.
That's like last month's news. Like
it's already been disproven. That's already been disproven. Laura says, to me, Ezra's doing this to get help because of the upcoming court date. I believe that. Because we know that Ezra's going to court in September. And if you go to court and go, I'm seeking treatment now, that looks much better for you than going to court and not having,
I don't think he's going to show up.
That would be great because that means that they are just going to, maybe there'll be some, I don't ever want to wish too much ill will on anyone, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of punishment because I don't think that Ezra's going to change otherwise. I think there needs to be something that needs to happen. That would be great. Maybe you take things seriously then. No, they did not confirm that this is the last Flash movie. That was the option C, I think, or 3 or whatever it was. Is that if this didn't work? No, it was 2. Option 2 was that they would replace Ezra if.
No, option 1 was that what they're doing right now with this.
Right, but I'm saying
article. Option 2 was that they don't. It was just about releasing the Flash movie. So option 2 was that. Right. Ezra just is not involved in the promotion of the movie. And then option 3 was they shelved the movie.
Yeah.
Not even shelve, it's like delete it.
Yeah, they delete the film from existence.
Because shelving can mean like there's a Mark Hamill movie that's coming out that was shelved like years ago or something. Now it's coming back out. So shelving technically means like a temporary thing.
So Triple X says, I don't think the Flash movie will be released. I think at this point it's pretty much guaranteed it will be released.
Yeah. I think at this point, yeah.
Okay, I'm only going to address
this. Did we literally go over this last week?
This was last week's thing. The score for Batgirl was literally the same as the first Shazam and the It movie.
And also, we've talked about it. John Campion goes to the extreme.
Yeah.
He goes to the extreme. He doesn't think like.
And those test screenings again. I want to say this. The very first test screening is literally a retooling screening. You go in.
Well, it's not even that. It's the first screen they did was literally an assembly cut from all the reports that came out.
Yeah.
So pretty much no VFX.
Yeah.
Like fake soundtrack because it was pretty much from other movies.
It was all like royalty.
Like so all the wire work was still